Hello and welcome to IA's In the Loop. In this episode, IA publisher Gary Robinson travels to Miami to meet Marcelo Passos, CEO at Empire Financial Specialists.
So here we are, this is IA In the Loop, and I'm here in Brickell in Miami in the personal offices of Marcelo Passos from Empire. Marcelo, wow, Miami once again. So good to see you, my friend.
Well, great to see you too. Thanks for coming over.
I'm I'm always excited to be in Miami. There's no excuse needed for me. If I ever get the chance to come over, I always jump at the chance, and I'm so pleased to be here today. We're here in Brickell, and we were just, Brickell is a financial district in Miami. It's so bustling and busy at the moment, isn't it? It's such a buzz about the place.
Yes, it's all the time, every day, every hour you stop by here, full of people walking around. It's very, very vibrant.
The first time I came would be probably about 8 years ago. It wasn't as vibrant. I thought for a financial district, I'd come from New York, London, or even like places in Switzerland, like Zurich, and it seemed, there was the real buzz. But I came to Brickell and was like, wow, there's, lots of traffic, but not many people at all. Now it's very different. Marcelo, tell me a little bit about Empire. I know about Empire, but for our listeners and readers, just tell us something about Empire and what it is that you do, and where in the world you position yourselves.
Okay. So about 25 years ago, I started the company, and it was founded here in Miami. It wasn't here in Brickell, but it was in the greater Miami area, and we've been here for the whole period, trying to solve a few of the problems that people have in Latin America. Where do I find the best insurance plan? Well, maybe not in your country. Maybe you have to go abroad to find a good insurance policy. And that's how we started it. We got American insurance companies and we took them to Latin American clients and say, look, you can now have a US policy taking care of your family in case you pass. And that's how we started the business. We were focused in life insurance when we started, because I came from being an employee at a life insurance company in Texas, where I went to college. And then we started it with the natural way. After doing insurance for a little while, we noticed a need for more retirement, investment-based products. So we started selling other solutions. And our business started growing because at the insurance times, people would say, well, we don't need life insurance. We need something to plan for our future, for college planning, for our kids' retirements, and for our retirements, things like that. So once we added the investment portion of it, we started growing a lot, and now we have a bunch of agents. We are in a few different countries in Latin America. Our main country right now is Brazil, but we also do Colombia, Costa Rica, Mexico. We still do insurance. We do medical insurance, global medical. Clients like to have the ability to go to any hospital, any doctor around the world. If they have a special condition they want to treat, they are free to select wherever they want to go. And we're still going strong.
It's a great story. Let me ask you a question about the sort of types of insurance, because you go to different jurisdictions, and I'll give you an example. In Dubai, particularly with the non-resident Indian population, everything's about life insurance. It's always about the life cover. But obviously, when you look at the US and Latin America, there's different circumstances than, for example, England, where we have the National Health NHS, National Health Service, which we're very proud of, but that's not the same everywhere that you go. So in terms of priority for your family, what does come first? It's your health and your wealth, and what happens when you die is kind of, maybe for a lot of people, third on the priority list. Would you say that's a fair appraisal of the kind of business that you guys do?
Very fair, because it's much easier to get somebody to hire a medical insurance plan than a life insurance plan. We hear it all the time. Oh no, life insurance, we don't need it. We'll just leave it for the future. We'll take care of it later. But everybody is afraid of getting into a hospital, especially here in the US. Hospital expenses are crazy. And maybe you spend $1 million in medical treatments, or you maybe spend 50 or 20 grand by breaking a leg. So yes, the medical insurance is like on their top priority list for sure.
What happens? I mean, look, we're going off track slightly, but I'll ask the question. I mean, what happens if somebody turns up they've got no medical insurance? What happens then?
Well, supposedly here you are going to receive treatment. They can't just turn you away and say, out of luck, if you have something very serious, you get into an emergency room, they will treat you afterwards. They may get stuck with the bill. Nothing may happen. But if you're looking for a certain treatment, it's not you coming into an emergency room with your arm falling off. I don't know, you have a condition you want to treat. It's going to be very hard for you to find treatment if you don't have any insurance, or if you can't provide some financial guarantees that you will pay the hospital bill. In some occasions, you just leave the hospital with a huge bill, and you receive it in your house later on, bill from the anesthesiologist, bill from the doctor that saw you, the nurse. Everybody has a separate bill, and you get a huge, then you have to call, try to negotiate. Oh, I'm a self-pay client, I don't have insurance. And sometimes the bill goes down like, I don't know, 80%, which is kind of weird. The US has this insurance thing. If you have insurance, it's 5 times more expensive than if you don't have insurance. But insurance becomes mostly an access policy. Can I go to a super big deal hospital, treat a cancer on my own and pay for the bill? Well, maybe I can, but most people cannot. So having that access and being able to, okay, yeah, we'll treat you. I know you're good for it. And the insurance plan takes care of that. The ones that we do, the global medical.
Wow. It really is, that. It's almost life and death. Let me move on from. Look at me moving on from it's almost life and death, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just move on to something more fun. But that is incredible, actually. Just to think of how lucky we are in the UK, for example. The NHS that we have, there are queues and there's waiting lists. But private medical insurance is not that much of a priority for a lot of people in the UK. For example, I don't have it. I am looking into it actually as I've got older. I'm a grandfather now. I've got my daughter's had another daughter, so I'm a grandfather to little Verity. Thank you. Get Verity in the podcast. She's 7 months old and already the number one priority in our family. She's incredible.
Very nice.
So when you think of it that way, you start to, you look at life very differently. You mentioned when talking about Empire, you said I've got a bunch of of advisors here and there. It's more than a bunch. Tell me about how many people you've got working and under the umbrella, how that works.
So if we count all solutions, life insurance, the global medical, and the investment portion, we're I think over 400 advisors now in the different places we are. Of course, we wish all 400 or 500 maybe would sell all the time and well. That's not the reality. We may have 400 to 500, and maybe a percentage of that is on the top charts of the producer, top producer, and all that. But at least we have active people and a bunch of active people doing that. Some people just do insurance. Some people just do medical insurance. Some people just do life insurance. And some people play around in all areas. And one of my biggest challenges is to get an investment guy to add the medical insurance portion to the portfolio. The life insurance guy to start selling some investments as well. And I was able to do that with some of the agents in the recent years, where now you start seeing advisors qualifying for the medical insurance convention, like investment advisors qualifying for medical insurance conventions, or the life insurance convention, seeing some of the advisors, they used to go only to the investment conventions. So we were able to do that. And one of my biggest personal challenges was to not be so one country dependent. If you look at our business a few years ago, I would say 95 to 98% of our advisors were in one country. Now we're probably 80-20. 80 is still a big number to be in one country, but I was able to get 20% out in different countries throughout Latin America. So that was
What?
good as well.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, why is Brazil the place that, is it part of your background? Is it tell me that story, and then on top of that, why is that region such an important region in international financial services? And of course, I'm alluding to the fact that our IA LATAM forum this year is coming from Sao Paulo on the 17th of September. And you will be there with us, Marcelo. I'm very happy to announce that. Tell us about Brazil as a region. Why is it important?
So every time you have financial instability, it becomes a bigger country for us to do business in. So you mentioned the UK, you mentioned your free medical system and all that. You don't have currency situations where you're thinking that maybe, well, the pound's not going to be worth as much as it is today in a month or a year or two. If you talk about Brazil, you don't have to go many years back for the dollar to be worth 2. For $1 to be worth 2 reais, for example, or 250 or 170 or 285 or 3. Not many years ago. Today, it's close to 6. So think about this. Wow. You are my investor from 10 years ago, and maybe you got the dollar being worth at 1 point something, okay? Or maybe 2, to make it easier. If I invested your money in something that earned 0, you still get money because the dollar that was 2, now it's 6, right? So you're getting money free anyway. Now, if I invested your money in something that maybe earned 6%, 7, 8, 10, or maybe you got a good year and you get 12, 13, whatever, you're making interest on your money. You're protected in US dollars because now you don't have that devaluation on your currency anymore. And some Brazilians also fear that, I don't know, the country is going down a hill and it's going to become some like other economies that keep going down and down and never get better. There are the optimists who think, no, this is going to be better, everything is great, but the realists know the country is not very good economically, and they say, okay, how do I protect that? So coming to dollars is a good way to do that. And maybe for me specifically, the way we concentrated in Brazil from the beginning of times, because I'm originally from Brazil, even though I moved to the States when I was about 18, 19. I'm from Brazil, opening a business in Miami, traveling to Brazil pretty much 1 week out of every month to build the business. It was the natural way to go. To recruit people, I was able to get some good agents, as you call advisors. In the beginning of times, they were in Brazil. We got some good connections. And that's how it started. It was the natural way to start. But the Latin America as a bloc have very similar realities. Everybody's worried about their currency devaluating. Everybody's worried about whatever can happen on the economy and on the government. They don't know if they're going to be with money being seized by the government, so they want to protect. And being able to do that in US dollars is a great tool.
Good answer. And it is incredibly important that cross-border financial services exist for certain places. I know that the geopolitical situation in Brazil, the fluctuations, it only takes an election and then everything's goes to chaos. I mean, we're experiencing a little bit of that with Trump in the US. But I think when you look at and I'm no economist, but when you look at Trump and you look at his last time, there was undulations all the way through, but it was smoothed over the course of the term, on an upward, an upward trajectory. Who knows what's going to happen next? I mean, the guy's a law unto himself. There seems to be some kind of, I mean, we're not going to spend time paying attention to Mr. Trump in this podcast, but when you come to, I'm sure that at the event, in Sao Paulo on the 17th, there'll be lots of discussion around that, how it impacts on Latin America, how it impacts on Brazil in particular. I've never been to Brazil, so I'm really excited to go. And I've always thought if I went to Brazil, I'd go to Rio. So have the event in Sao Paulo. Tell us a little bit about Sao Paulo, because it's an important region for you guys, but as a region for Brazil, what can we expect there? And to anyone who's never been, like me, what's it like? What's Sao Paulo like as a business center?
Very easy way to describe Sao Paulo is Latin American's New York. Okay?
Really? Ah, okay.
So it's the place where you find most similarities with here in the US. So think about a place where you can work nonstop. You can go to the best restaurants, sometimes in Latin America. They're in Sao Paulo. There are some top 50 in the world that are found, one in Latin America or one in Brazil, maybe one in Peru, whatever. So you find great restaurants. Nightlife never ends. Busy all the time. Traffic like crazy. So I think it's a very good comparison, even though a lot of people go, oh, of course, New York's much better and all that. Of course, New York's a little bit safer. There's the portions in Sao Paulo that you have to be careful. Latin America has those issues, but very, very big on night, work, food, good place to be. But you mentioned being the first time in Brazil. So having a 40-minute flight to Rio as a tourist, it's something you should do. Rio is the beautiful part, the beach, the life. So we make jokes that the people from Rio won't like that in Sao Paulo we work so they can go to the beach. You should go to the beach in Rio and check it out and see the place. But you will like Sao Paulo as well. It's a very nice place to be when you go to Brazil.
I'm looking forward to it. It's always been on my list, and it's to have the opportunity to host our fourth event. We did two in Miami for the LATAM forums. We were in Montevideo last year. Really good turnout. Everybody flew to Montevideo. We had a great time. But to get the opportunity to go somewhere else is it still classed as a southern cone of Brazil? I don't think it is it? It's not quite.
Not there yet. It's a little.
It's a little higher up. Yeah. But I'm very excited and looking forward to seeing you guys there. Just before we finish, tell us a little bit more about Empire. What have you got planned? Have you got any anything that's changing at the moment? Any new offices? Any areas you want to expand into? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so about a year ago, I opened an office in Uruguay, Montevideo. I have a person that's been working with me there for a few years. He's doing a really good job. He's our everything guy, operations, sales management, and all that. He's doing a great job. So we opened an office there. Besides that, we are trying to get more agents in different countries. We have done a pretty good job in the last 12 months in increasing our presence in Colombia. Done good there. I would say the last 2 years, Mexico, Costa Rica became really relevant for us. Costa Rica, we had nothing before. Through a new team that we added to sell a specific company that we just brought to market, we got presence in Costa Rica, Mexico, and some Caribbean countries. Through the medical insurance portion, we got agents in Trinidad and Tobago now. We're doing business that as well. We have a little bit of motion into Dubai now with medical insurance, looking into that expansion. But those are small pieces that may pan out. Hope it does. Focusing on continuing growth with the stuff that we've been doing. We haven't done like new products. We stuck with life, health, investments. So we're focused on that. We are not an agency that does car insurance, houses, and all that. We're very focused on what we do. We consider those the three pillars of your financial security and the future of your family. Everything is tied. If you come to the States and as we were talking about, have a $500,000 hospital bill and you don't have money to pay and you pass away, your family's having to deal with that. So medical insurance is part of that. If you have no assets or everything is tied up and you have a life insurance that if you die, $1 million goes to your family right away, tax-free, you're helping your family succeed. And everything going well, you're saving some money, your kid goes to college, or you buy them a new car, or you retire with some more money that you invested with us, or you protected your assets coming from Latin America and putting in US dollars. So we like to focus on that. And that's what we're continuing the next few years.
It's life, Marcelo. It's life that you're dealing with. You're dealing with real people, real lives. You know, your 400, 500 brokers, advisors that are out there. You know, they've got a huge responsibility. It's something that I don't think any true advisor takes lightly. You know, particularly given the challenges of the region. You know, we mentioned geopolitical stuff as well. Good luck in Dubai. Dubai is thriving at the moment. For this podcast, we were out there a fortnight ago. We did a bunch of interviews. They're on our site at the moment. But it's buzzing out there. There's a lot of people moving there from the UK, for example. There's a lot of people moving there from across the globe. And it's becoming an incredibly important financial centre. It always was, but I think it's becoming more so. And in the 8 to 10 years that I've been travelling to here in Miami and in Dubai, I've seen a lot of change in Dubai more than anywhere. It's incredible, the place.
Actually, Dubai I haven't been. Really? I don't know. I need to. Like your question about Sao Paulo, I imagine Dubai is very vibrant and interesting as well. So it's on my list.
You'd be welcome as a guest at we do an event in October. You'd be more than welcome as a guest at our event. You get to meet some good people. And
let me know about it. Give me these details. That would be a good experience.
Just before we finish, you guys you work closely with providers. You have a special relationship, let's say, with Investors Trust. How important is that to what you do, and why Investors Trust?
So yes, Investors Trust is a super good relationship. We've been doing it from the beginning, pretty much. I opened the business before Investors Trust was born, but as soon as they started doing business, they became an important part of our business here. We believe that Investors Trust changed the way the whole market works.
So you guys preceded them. You started ahead of them. I've seen the growth of the company, and they've been supporters of Investment International and an international advisor. We do some important work with them, and without Investors Trust input, we would never have, particularly Ari and Gustavo there, we would never have thought about doing an event in Latin America. So we're really, proud to work with them on that particular event, and others ourselves. But you were telling us how that got started and why they're important to you guys too.
Yeah. So I think Investors Trust changed the way business was done in Latin America. There were players doing similar things before, mostly from the UK somewhere. But I think Investors Trust modernized the way the business was. So now everything became easier to do. The platforms, the online. Think about in the UK companies, for a long time, you have to send a package of actually signed that you would have to mail the client in Latin America, get it back, send it to the UK company, signed on ink and all that, and modernizing that changed the game. The relationship with Investors Trust is a long relationship. We have some back history there. We like each other. We know each other for a long time. When I started the company, I was coming from an insurance background, but adding Investors Trust changed our company as well. So Empire Financial became a company that deals with financial future of a bunch of families, investments, retirement, and that changed the number of clients and the number of advisors we were able to recruit and put in our team. So a lot of people that work with us today, they like the fact that I'm a bit older, that I've been doing this business for a long time, that I'm a US company, US registered company, been here for a long time. I didn't just started doing this because something else didn't work out. This is the business. A lot of our advisors are younger. They like to have me here on their corner, close to the companies, getting the right products and letting them have it and sell it to their clients.
I think it's a great story, and thank you so much for sharing it with us. All that remains to say is thank you for being on IA's In the Loop podcast, and we'll see you in Sao Paulo at the event on September 17th.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching or listening wherever you get your podcasts. Join us again next time for In the Loop.